I told you. I told you. I told you. If you thought that the Cavs were going to get chopped liver for Kyrie, Uncle Drew Irving, you must be out your motherfucking mind. If you've been under a rock for the last 24 hours and couldn't get no goddamn alerts, you may not know that Kyrie Irving is now a Boston Celtic and Isaiah Thomas is now a Cleveland Cavalier. I go by the name of Dame. Subscribe to your boy Damian Harkless. If you have already, salute. I appreciate you, my ninja. I do this for y'all. This is not only the eye test. You know this is Mr. Eye Test right here. But this is also an infusion of the trade review. Not only did the Cavs get Zay, but they got Jay Crowder, defender, small forward, dreadhead, role player, pretty decent. Something to relieve a Bron or a wing defender, alongside the Nets' 2018 first pick. And if you know the Nets, like I know the Nets, that's a top 5 pick, motherfucker. So you have that. And we're going to get into the review, who's winning and who's losing. I don't see too many losers. I feel like the Celtics compromised out of the willingness to get a superstar. I feel like Kyrie Irving is a notch above Isaiah in terms of being a superstar. I feel like Isaiah is like a mini version of Kyrie, a scoring guard, a shooting type point guard, pass second, a liability somewhat on defense. Kyrie's a liability to me too, but at 5'8", 145, you are an extreme liability. And I curved him on 145. He probably like 170, 160, but you get the point of emphasis, motherfucker. So, for me, it's a clear win for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Not only a couple months ago when they found out, or a couple weeks, whatever, when they found out Uncle Drew was leaving, did they get Derrick Rose to suffice? 18 points per last year, attacking guard. But they get Isaiah Thomas as well. Cavaliers know what the fuck they doing, man. You take Kyrie Irving and you compare him to Derrick Rose and Isaiah Thomas in terms of productivity together. You have Isaiah Thomas and you have Derrick Rose, an attacker of the basket in Rose and a scoring, shooting point guard in Isaiah Thomas. If you know your superstar is going to leave, what better way to compromise? I feel like the Cavs are winning completely in this trade, but that doesn't mean that Boston is losing. Boston is in need of a superstar. I feel like Isaiah was almost knocking at the door. This was his best year, clearly. But let's just be real, man. At 5'8", 170 provides you limitations. And not only that, but if you want to compare contrast players, you know this is the eye test. Kyrie Irving is highly more skilled. He's a post player when he wants to be. When someone like Isaiah is guarding him, he's an elite post player. His handles, surprisingly, are better. I say surprisingly because Isaiah is so low to the earth. Isaiah might be faster, quicker, but Kyrie Irving is the better ball handler in my opinion. I will give Isaiah, I say Isaiah probably shoots the 3 ball better now. Off that pick, he was so deadly last year, and he was agua the whole year. So if anything, I would give Isaiah I would give Isaiah the 3 ball, and I would also give him the pick and roll play. I feel like he executed that well on the Celtics. But aside from that, it'd be hard pressed giving him anything. They both are liabilities on defense, so I would give it to Kyrie forcefully because he's taller. He's probably stronger. And he's like at 5'8", it's hard to guard anybody. This is coming from a nigga that's 5'8", so believe me. If I see 6'2" talent, skill, it's a lot more tough with those inches, baby. So when you talk about the eye test, you got clutch. They're both very, 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 very clutch. Isaiah Thomas had one of his best years and his most clutch year and he actually got to show his stuff this year. He's had previous years when he's been on the bench on the Kings. He's been on the bench, I believe, on the Suns as well. You gotta understand, it's hard. It's hard out here for a pimp when you that small. I love Isaiah Thomas. That's my man's. But at 5'8", you can only do so much. And to have that leadership role on Boston, I feel like that was too much. And I feel like what better way than to give it to somebody who's hungry for that number one role, hungry for that leadership role, somebody who's basically renounced his legacy in Cleveland and wants to, take up another path. If you know LeBron, you know the history of LeBron. You can't be the best player on the planet with LeBron on your team. You can't be spoken in that manner. Let's look at the history. Dwayne Wade was never called more elite with LeBron than without. Chris Bosh was a top 5 power forward. With Bron, they called him a liability. Kevin Love, top 5 power forward. With Bron, they called him a liability. I can go player after player that they've just called trash, garbage because they were with Bron. So I understand why Kyrie left. And it's a win for Kyrie. This is exactly what he wants. I will tell Kyrie, though, be careful what you wish for, buddy. Because now, what you see, this is why I don't regard to stats. It's all situational. Isaiah had better stats last year, but it's because of his situation. This year, you can guarantee, bet your bottom dollar, Kyrie gonna have better stats. He's in an opportune position to where he's the only fucking scorer. What, you got Avery Bradley as your second scorer? Al Horford? Isaiah was too heavily depended upon at 5'8", 165 to be the best player to lead them to the finals. Y'all can't be serious, man. He's a great player, man, but that's just too much for one itty-bitty person, man. That's why I feel it's good for him. He can go to Cleveland. He got some help. He doesn't have to be the number one option. He probably can. He doesn't have to be the number 2 option if you don't want to. Cleveland has so much talent, again, backstacked. They lost one game, 3, 2? So they're stacked up. They're ready to go. Now Isaiah can just play a piece to the puzzle. You can guarantee a final appearance from me from Cleveland. I don't know if they'll still climb that Mount Rushmore, because that's what they all trading and doing it for, Golden State, baby. Still got Chef and KD. So I don't know if it'll put them over the hump in that aspect, but I feel like in every way it helps Kyrie, it helps Isaiah Thomas. And for me, this, you guys might not agree with this, but I would put this nigga on the bench. The reason being is we saw last year in the playoffs when Isaiah was out, actually they had a better chance of defending the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they won their games with Isaiah missing. Not saying that they're better without him, but you just have to account for the defensive end. Like even if we were trying to mask Isaiah on a Shumpert still gonna get his on 5'8", 170. Any NBA player that's anybody, D'Angelo Russell will get his on a goddamn Isaiah Thomas. He's just too small. So for me personally, I would put him as the best 6 man in the league. I know he went to the All-Star game. I know he's probably getting racked out, and Rose is not. But Rose, this is somebody who's never been on the bench. This is somebody who's 6'3", stout, big guard, driving guard. You can even give Isaiah more minutes than Rose. It don't matter. But as far as starting, having that solid 5 to line up and play defense, you can't have a defensive liability in your starting position. Now, I also call Kyrie a liability, but it's nowhere near the extent of Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, to me, can't guard anybody. And that's with no disrespect to him. It's just he's the smallest guy in the league. So, yeah, well, as far as the Celtics go, they need another piece. I don't want to see my man Kyrie because it's been a lot of talks he can't get it done as the number 1. Well, he for sure can't get it done with this Celtics team. They don't have enough scores, and they just lost one of their better players in Jay Crowder. I'm not talking about Isaiah because they got Kyrie for that, but then you lose another player, so now you have more spots to fulfill. You have a wing position to fulfill. You need a big scorer. You need an Aldridge. Get something. Don't leave Kyrie with just this and expect him to average 32, and take y'all and surpass y'all past his former team with LeBron, Rose, Isaiah Thomas, J.R. Smith, Jay Crowder, Shumpert, Kevin Love, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson. The list fucking goes on. That's not finna happen. Ain't no fucking Celtics finna beat no fucking Cavs next year. You can take that out your head. And you can bet me money on it, motherfucker. Y'all can hit me up right after the series. But in overall terms, it was a good trade for both parties, I believe. F the Celtics find my boy some help. I don't want to see him go through the Kobe 05, 06 phase where he just killing, dominating the league, yet can't get past 50 wins, can't get past the first round because his second best scorer is Avery Bradley. Feel me? As far as the eye test, I really only did it the eye test just to do the trade review. This is not to me much of a comparison. I mean, they both are similar in that they're scoring guards, that they can put the ball in the hoop. They both can shoot extremely well. Though I said Isaiah's a better shooter, Kyrie's a shooter as well. They're both scorers. They both attack the basket. Both of them actually finish at the rack at an elite level. Isaiah Thomas is a fearless young player, fearless little player. Kyrie Irving, another fearless, moderately little. He's 6'2", 6'3", man. That does a lot in this game of basketball, man. This ain't football. So yeah, man, I want to know what y'all think. Of course, eye test. I didn't even really do eye test as much, but of course, eye test. Kyrie's the better player, more skilled, bigger, better scorer to me. Actually, Isaiah Thomas is just really a shooter and a good attacker of the basket. But as far as post play, as far as one-on-one game, I feel like Kyrie really got all that over him. So I test Kyrie. Who benefited from the trade? I got Cleveland more so than the Celtics. I mean, damn, you lose one of your best players, and this is how you recoup. I've never seen nobody recoup the way Bron recoups, man. His get-back game is the strongest I've ever seen. But yeah, man, I want to know what y'all think. Kyrie, Isaiah Thomas, the trade, the breakdown, who wins, who loses, what happens next year, how is it going to play out. It's your boy Dame. Holla at your boy, man. Peace.